major announcements in 2 of the 3 top levels in NASCAR, as well as several driver announcements. It means that there's going to be a lot of stuff to go over in this video, so let's get right into it on this episode of Running with the Pack.
And the 3-car makes contact with the 66. They're going to be bumper to bumper, side by side, at the line. 77 wins it.
The 31 wins it.
Dodge Dakota is your Fire Cup Series champion.
So a couple of quick driver announcements here that have come out in the last week or so before we get into the major news from the Xfinity and Truck Series. But first off, we've got Natalie Decker. She will be in the 44 truck part-time this year for Nice Motorsports, teammates with Ty Majeski, who's over there in the 45 full-time. And that is going to be the same truck that Ross Chastain will be driving for a select number of races. So that's one driver announcement. Another one, we finally know where Daniel Suarez is. So he will be at the 96 Gaunt Brothers Racing ride, which I feel like basically since he was announced that he is not going to be back in the 41, I feel like that was the most likely option that a lot of people were thinking was going to happen. I know RCR Xfinity was thrown around, but apparently his sponsors and maybe he himself didn't want to go back down to Xfinity. But in the end, he will be in the Cup Series next year, full-time with Gaunt Brothers Racing. And then we had one other Cup-related driver/sponsor announcement in which Axalta announced that they will only be sponsoring they'll be sponsoring Byron for 22 races and Bowman for 3. And Bowman, especially after losing a major backing with Nationwide, needs more than 3 races. I would have much rather seen them go for a much more even split, so 25-ish races. 13 on Byron, 13 on Bowman. I think that would be probably the better way I would like to see the split. Now, return on investment, you'll probably get a lot more return on investment from Byron getting his first career win rather than Bowman getting a second career win, considering he got his first career win last year with Axalta on the car. So I would say that's probably the better ROI for the sponsor, like return on the investment of sponsoring the races. Because Byron has probably more hype around him, I'd say right now, than Bowman. And he has yet to get his first career win, yet has been so close, such as Martinsville last October. But yeah, so those are most of the initial driver announcements and really not even a major part of the video. But I wanted to go through and let them know because Daniel Suarez, he's a very big name. He's a pretty big name driver in the series the last several years and pretty much the last Cup Series driver that had not been announced where he would be racing. So now we know, and let's move on to some news from the Xfinity Series. So, the NASCAR Xfinity Series made an announcement last week that for their 4th of July race, they would be going to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course on the same weekend as the Brickyard 400. The Brickyard 400 will not be affected. That will still be on the 2.5-mile oval configuration, and the Xfinity Series race will be on the road course, which I find that very interesting because, of course, that means that they have now, they're going with a split thing, because that was something I heard when I suggested for the Pocono doubleheader, that staggering those two and having the first race of the Pocono doubleheader on the road course and the other one on the oval, that wasn't possible because of the track time turnover. But according to Roger Penske himself, he says that the track can be changed over from one configuration to the next in as little as, I think, 90 minutes is what he said, so I mean, that is plenty of time to get something like that turned over, ready to go for the next race. And to be honest, I'm really excited to see it. I'd like to see, we're curious to know what layout, because we still don't know exactly which layout they're going to use of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway's road course. Matt Benedetto will be testing, as he won't be racing in that race. For one reason or another, he won't be taking part in that race as a part of his schedule, so with him not running that race, he is then allowed to test and not gain a competitive edge. So, in the end, I'd say I'm really excited to see the Indianapolis road course being used. This is the first major announcement that we've seen out of Penske after he, of course, bought the track. Buying the track was massive in all forms of motorsports. I just didn't think NASCAR would be the first one affected by it. But hey, we got the Indy road course going to the, and they have not ruled out the possibility of literally anything for 2021. 2021, both races could be on the road course, both races could be on the oval. Cup could be on the road course, and Xfinity could be back on the oval. Who knows? So they haven't made anything specific for 2021 yet. I think the Xfinity race in 2020 is basically going to be a test basically to see how stock cars on the road course feels compared to how it's received by the fans. And I think at the very least this is a way to get fans back interested in the stock cars at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, because as of right now, I feel like there's next to no hype, or no one's really excited for the Brickyard 400. And to be honest, after the last couple of years, I don't necessarily blame people for not being overly excited about it. But I would say, I always like the Brickyard, but I feel like the majority of people definitely not gonna be are not very excited for Indy, especially with this new package not really being built for Indy either. So, road course, I'm excited to watch it on TV. Won't be there in person, but when it comes to it though, I'm excited to see it, and I hope it works out really well, because I think that could be a great starting point for potentially the future, especially if they do continue down the road with the Pocono doubleheader. Though I feel like that could end up becoming one race as well later on. But that's a topic for a whole nother video, especially with the major truck series news that came out last night. And here's probably the main talking point though of today's video, and probably the one I'll probably spend the most time talking about, and probably the one that hopefully will get some discussion going in the comment section. But when it comes to the truck series, their playoffs will be going from 8 drivers to 10 drivers, and I can kind of see where I think they made the decision from, but I'm going to kind of go over kind of my thoughts though behind it here in just a second. But where I think they made the decision from was the fact that only 2 drivers made it in on points last year, including, I think it was Harrison Burton, who was only like 4th or 5th in points, got bumped out of the playoffs, along with guys like Sheldon Creed and Todd Gilliland, who were inside the top 8 in points, but guys like Chastain, Ankrum, and Sauter, who were on the outside looking in but had wins, bumping those 3 out. I can kind of see where them adding this in is, but with Chastain in that truck, and now he's not going to be in that truck anymore. I still think it's going to be a fast truck, but I don't know if it's going to be really all that competitive every single week. So that's one competitive truck they've lost. So it's like trying to figure out exactly where the competitive edge is going to be. We don't know how many trucks DGR Crosley's going to have full time, but it looks like there's going to be one full-time truck there, as well as Todd Gilliland for front row. That's 2. Then you've got the 4 GMS trucks, and that is where the bulk of your playoff grid is going to be going to GMS and ThorSport trucks. And then you've got Helmar Friesen Racing, Hittori Racing, the 2 KBM trucks that are full-time that could definitely earn a playoff spot here and there. But I just feel like expanding the grid, especially to where now you aren't eliminating the same number each round, because now it's going to be round of 10, round of 8, round of 4, instead of round of 8, round of 6, round of 4, which championship 4, not round of 4, but still. So that's kind of one of just kind of my slight intricacies that I would rather see them just keep it to where they're eliminating the same number each time. And also the fact that I think if you have 8 playoff spots, I think it makes it way more competitive for people trying to edge out people for those spots. Kind of the same thing with the Cup Series these days. Like, if you don't make the 16-driver playoff, well, this year it's looking like that's actually going to be a challenge, but in recent years it's been like, if you miss the playoffs, you're, I feel like a lot of drivers, their talent level is fair to be questioned at that point because you didn't make the top 16 in drivers' points, especially if you're driving for, say, Joe Gibbs Racing or a Penske Racing. Driving for those types of teams and missing the 16-driver playoff is definitely a big mark to miss, and which a couple drivers have missed, but I'm just going to point out there that this is going to make the truck series more. There is going to be more trucks getting into the truck playoffs, but I don't necessarily know if it's going to really help build any hype around the eliminations. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be, but just kind of, for me, I think 8, 6, and 4 seems like a pretty good way of bringing it down rather than doing 10, 8, and then 4. Something about just going from 10 to 8 and then jumping down to the championship 4 after that just seems a bit off. And same with the Xfinity Series. Xfinity Series should also be down to 10 or 8 spots at this point because there's only about 6 to 10 competitive cars on every given that are competitive on any given week. Because you've got the Joe Gibbs cars, you've got the one full-time Penske car, you've got the one full-time SHR car, and then you've got maybe an RCR car. There isn't even an RCR car going for the playoff spot. Justin Haley and Chastain will both be playoff contenders, but I just feel like there should be a little bit more uniformity in it. Maybe that's just me being a little bit particular about liking something like the Cup Series where it's 4 eliminated each round, or like the Xfinity Series where again there's still 4 eliminated each round. Now, if they wanted to do 10 and do 10, 8, 6, and then 4, and kind of keep it on pace with the and basically drag out the playoffs a little bit longer, I wouldn't mind that. I don't think that'd be too weird to break it up that way, basically just adding an extra round onto the front end of the playoffs. But I just don't think the Truck Series really needs the extra 2 playoff spots. I feel like for the majority of the time, I feel like they actually have a fairly legitimate, the best 8 drivers usually make the truck playoffs. And to be honest, the Truck Series has been some of the best racing. Like last year, the Truck Series had some of the best racing on most of the tracks. In particular on like the Martinsville race weekends, and especially as they're going to Richmond now, it's like the trucks definitely put on some of the better shows at the short tracks in particular. So, and I feel like a lot of the truck drivers they have a lot more to show because they want to be picked up by a team owner from a higher series. So they want to show off by being able to get that win, like what Spencer Boyd did at Talladega. Or, for example, what Ankrum was able to do at Kentucky. And they want to be able to show that to a higher up on the ladder team owner. For example, Ankrum getting the call up to go to GMS, or someone like, say, Chastain being able to now go up to Xfinity full time. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for me though here today on this episode of Running with the Pack. I just wanted to talk about these ones. Sorry if this last point was a little bit kind of thrown together. I really haven't had a whole lot of time to really digest it. It came out last night, and actually right now debated that it was on track testing that Indianapolis configuration. So I'll probably have another video out later this week. If they pick a layout, and if not, there'll almost definitely be some news that comes out while I'm editing this video that I'm gonna be able to make a video on. So don't worry, there's gonna be no shortage from content from me. Also, if you guys do enjoy the content on the show, remember that you guys can subscribe, and I actually currently have a giveaway going on. The drawing will be on the 1st of February, so time kind of running out on that one. You've got a little over 10 days, or you've got a little under 10 days to go and get signed up for that. And the way you would do that, go to the link in my pinned comment down below to go to my 500 subscriber special where I will be giving away a Running with the Pack t-shirt. Mine is not currently on me because it is actually currently in the wash because I've been wearing it so much, but yeah, definitely would recommend going down there, checking out how to sign up for that giveaway. Those designs will also be available on my merchandise store later on, but aren't right now. But yeah, so that would be your way though to get one of the Running with the Pack t-shirts sooner rather than later, especially before, to try and get one if you want to get one, say, before the season starts. But that's pretty much it from me here though at Running with the Pack, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye!